Now, Governor Jindal, let me ask you a tough one then. Today, the networks are full of conversation about whether or not the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment ought to be repealed, a constitutional amendment to end birthright citizenship. Would you support such an amendment?
Well, I think the reason you see this debate going on is because we're not enforcing our laws today. The reality is you've got folks that are coming here breaking our laws. They're having children, and there are various terms for the folks that are, the children that are here, and it complicates. It leads to this complicated debate. I think the solution is pretty simple. One, secure the borders. Secondly, no illegal, no unconstitutional amnesty orders, executive orders. Third, here's what I think a smart immigration policy looks like. I think people that come here should come legally, should learn English, adopt our values, roll up their sleeves, and get to work when they come here. And I think if we do that, we can be the great melting pot again. What I really worry about is right now the left is insisting we've got to have multiculturalism. They're insisting we can't insist people that want to come here want to be Americans. They want to insist on hyphenated Americans. Hugh, immigration without assimilation is invasion. And I think that's why people are so worried. I think the most direct, the simplest answer to all of this, secure the border, stop people coming here illegally, and that eliminates the problem in the first place.
But, Governor, if I was actually at the debate stage, I would have interrupted you, and I would have said, very simple question, though. Do you support an amendment to change the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment? Yes or no, Governor Jindal?
My answer would be the simplest way to solve this problem is secure the border. I think we can do that. We can do that in 6 months. That would be a lot easier than trying to amend the Constitution.
So is that a no? I don't support it?
The answer is secure the border so we eliminate the problem. My worry is that the political answer is, we'll tell people we'll amend the Constitution when the elites know in D.C. That'll take much longer than simply getting this job done. What I worry about is that becomes an excuse to have open borders and amnesty. That becomes an excuse for inaction. Let's solve the real problem, secure the border.
Well, but you see, the way I would answer that question, I think what you said, it's not Hugh Hewitt's opinion. I think translating Governor Bobby Jindal is, no, I don't favor an amendment. An amendment takes forever. I'm not sure of the wisdom of it anyway. In the meantime, the border is not secure. So, no, I don't favor an amendment. Let's focus on that. But I think all of our candidates have trouble answering questions. And you're like one of the intellectuals among the Republican Party. And it's very frustrating to voters when candidates just don't say yes or no to yes or no answers.
Well, but I think this question is more complicated because, look, I don't have strong views on the underlying concept. My bigger concern is, the reason I think this is a little more nuanced is what I worry about is, look, there are folks that may say they're for this because it's a convenient excuse to avoid the real. I think the real issue, what really people are worried about is there are people that are coming illegally, they're having children, and that's leading to this complicated debate, or there are even people that are coming and overstaying their visas for the purpose to have children here so they can have citizenship. I know that's happening in California where you are. And I think the real answer to that is if we really want to nip that problem in the bud, stop them from coming. It shouldn't be as easy as it is. It shouldn't be possible for people to come into our country illegally. Right now, it's very easy for people to do that. So I think when people ask that question, the real root issue they're trying to get at is, why is it so easy for people to come here and have children when they shouldn't be here in the first place?
Well, I agree with that. Your analysis is correct, but that does still leave hanging the question. The Supreme Court decided this in 1898, that people born in the United States are citizens, and that's because of the 14th Amendment, which passed in the Civil War. And I don't think that will ever be changed, actually. I don't think it's possible to change that given the constitutional amendment process. So isn't it easiest just to say, no, I don't support whether or not people want to bring it forward, I just won't support it? Isn't that easier to say and then move on to the analysis?
Well, I think there are other people that don't support it because ideologically they oppose it. I guess my rationale is what I really want to do is solve the problem that people are worried about. And, and today in political sound bites, what I worry is that it's easy to try to get, in some debates, they try to get people to raise their hands. This is a presidential debate. It should be a discussion, and people should have the opportunity to offer analysis and good answers, and people can agree or disagree with them. I think we got to get away from the silliness of and I hope this debate doesn't do this, where people say, all right, raise your hand if you think...
You'll not get that from me. I don't do raise your hand questions, but I do know that we're limited to an hour with 6 very competent people, and so you and I have just spent more time talking in 8 minutes, and you'll probably get that night. It's not really an ideal way to pick a president, but it's the way we do it.
Well, that's why I want you to ask all your questions to me. You just ignore everybody else. That was my advice in the first place. You heard that at the top of the hour. There's no reason to give those guys attention. They're not going to be president. Just ignore them. Let them think there's another debate.
Okay, let me,
Hewitt, Bobby, ignore the other moderators, too. Just be Hugh Hewitt and Bobby Jindal. Okay. From the Reagan Library.
I want to go back to